Direct Show, and again, we're here at Ozarks Homesteading Expo 2024, Marshfield, Missouri, and I am standing here with Zach Bauer from An American Homestead, one of the guys that we love to watch and follow. It was mine and my wife's first channel that we ever followed, so the opportunity to stand here and have a conversation with him, and as he says, stupid should hurt. That's one of their new shirts, one of their new things, and I think we agree with them out here in the homesteading world. But Zach, it's good to have you here. I'm glad you're out with us.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for coming out. I'm having a great time. This is a huge crowd, always is, and we love it.
Yeah, this is our first year to get to come to this one, so we're really pumped up and excited about how many people are out and how big it is.
Yes.
But, well, listen, me and my wife were talking, and we had a question.
Yeah.
Now, we've got some land, so what's the first thing that a person should focus on their homestead? If they've got the land, it's got a pond, it's got wells, it's got buildings, what should we focus on?
Well, it's going to depend on what your priorities are. Everyone's going to have different priorities. Water is always the first thing, but you said you have wells, you have ponds, things like that. Water should be your first priority. You can't live without water. But once that's done, it's going to be depending on what your priorities are. Are you looking at raising animals? Are you looking at maybe growing crops, gardens? What is your priorities? And then adjust from there.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, really just making a checklist and what's most important.
Yeah. What's your goals?
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's kind of an important thing. And outside of that, what's some advice you'd give to somebody that's even thinking about jumping into this lifestyle?
Oh, man, there are a lot of, don't give up. It's going to be hard. This is going to be a hard lifestyle. And I gave my talk earlier and I kind of covered some of that. It's going to be a hard journey, but it's going to be a very rewarding journey.
Right.
And so you're going to come to times where things are going to stress you out. We've gotten so far away, I think, as a culture from this lifestyle that our ancestors knew very well. Right. That once we get reintroduced into it, it's hard hitting. A lot of we think of this romantic idea of homesteading, and it's just not that way. People want to be one with nature, but they don't understand nature's trying to kill you,
right?
And trying to kill all of your animals and everything else. So it's like you have to figure out that again and learn how to sidestep all the landmines associated with that. And it's going to be challenging, but as long as you stick with it, as long as you maintain focus, you're going to do okay. You're going to be better off in the end. It's going to be a very rewarding journey.
Right. I laughed when he said about things are trying to eat you. We were doing an event up at our property here recently, and somebody said, "I'm getting bit," and I said, "Everything up here bites."
Yes. I think it was that movie. It was a John Wayne movie, and it took place in Fort Smith.
Right. Oh yeah, True Grit. Yeah.
He's like, everything out here wants to bite you, stab you, or stick you.
That's it, and that's it. Well, listen, I'm seeing something behind me. Perfect pickler. If you want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So about a year ago, we got approached by a company in Florida. They've been in business since 1994. And they called me up, said, "Zach, would you like to take over this business? We're getting ready to do something else, missionary work overseas." And I said, "Well, let me learn more about it." It's a vegetable fermentation business.
Okay.
Making your own probiotics at home. So, you buy probiotics in the store. They're really expensive and you don't know how viable they are. They have to keep them cold and everything. How would it be if you could make your own vegetable probiotics at home that are always viable, that you can make every year? And have good, healthy gut healing bacteria. I mean, that's fantastic. I said, I did research, and I'm like, yes, I'm interested. And so we took it over.
All right. Well, I mean, that's definitely one step closer to self-sufficiency and
healthy lifestyles. If you look back through history, most things that our ancestors grew were fermented. Right. Even sourdough bread was fermented sourdough.
Right.
But mostly sour cream, raw milk, butter, everything had gut healthy healing bacteria associated with it that we don't have today. Even sour cream. Today, the sour cream you buy in the store, it's not sour. It's something that's been processed in a factory.
Wow.
But that's fermented.
Right.
One of the reasons I think we're so unhealthy today is because we don't eat healthy foods. And we're getting back to what our ancestors used to do.
I just read the other day that it was 1946 was when they said the first grocery store kind of came in. Yes. And that was less than 100 years ago. And where it was before, it was on the kitchen table. It was in the root cellar.
In your pantry,
Right. And so, I mean, that's just one of our big things is, cutting the links out of chains or reducing down that distance between you and your food.
Right.
And I know that's a big thing, and I know it's important. Well, Zach, listen, hey, before I forget, the copper ingots, tell me about this. I seen when you were doing it the other day. So
I talk about, listen, when you go into homesteading, you talk about think about what you are as a homesteader. And in our culture today, we have people who identify as certain careers. That's their career name. That's what I am.
Right.
But as a homesteader, historically, they've always had multiple revenue streams.
Right.
So my son got this idea for a revenue stream where he began collecting old number one copper from different machines, and then melting it down, purifying it into pure copper bars, and then selling those as
Okay.
extra income. He's a teenager,
Right.
and he's been doing that. So he's been selling these copper bars, and I think if you buy them online, they're like $25 a pound.
Right.
If you go to a scrapyard, it's a lot cheaper, but it's scrap.
Right.
But he's purified them, $25 a pound. We're selling for like $50 for $3 bar, 3-pound bars.
Wow.
And it's a good business for him.
Okay. Yeah. So what can you do with that?
Oh, all kinds of things. So one of the things I've told people you can do with these is what people have done throughout history, and that's making stills.
Okay.
If times ever got tough, you could heat these up, hammer them down, and make stills. Stills are very simple technology.
Right.
People have been doing it for thousands of years.
Well, I will say it is a part of the Ozarks heritage right here.
Absolutely.
It's the old stills. Well, that is so cool. I had seen it. I was my thing was, what's the purpose? I mean, is it currency or are we going to melt it
Hey,
down?
listen, holding these, hold that in your hand.
It's
You
size.
realize you're holding more value in your hand than most people who've ever lived on planet Earth have ever held in their hand before.
Really?
Copper used to be it's a monetary metal.
Right.
And that's holding a lot of value that most people throughout history never got a chance to hold.
Right. I know. I remember watching some stuff on history where, like the Roman coins and stuff, a lot of them were built out of copper.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
Even
that's
our own coins used to be made out of copper. Today
Right.
it's zinc.
Yeah.
But our old coins of pennies were made of copper.
Yep.
Real
And,
copper.
Yep. There you go. Penny for your thoughts, right there. You can't go wrong.
Pennies for your thoughts.
Anyway, stupid should hurt. There you go. But listen, hey, if you're out here, if you're going to come out here, make sure today, I know the day's the only day that Zach and them are going to be here. Come by their booth, say hi, get a cool T-shirt, check out Perfect Pickler. And I know, where can they reach you online and on social?
And AmericanHomestead.com. You can find me at that website. And from there, you can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Patreon. Or you can go to PerfectPickler.com to find more information about the fermentation kits that we sell.
Okay. Well, hey, Zach, I appreciate your time today spending with us. And I know our listeners will appreciate it. And we look forward to seeing more from you in the future. And guys, there it is right there. You heard a ton of advice, a ton of good information in just a short amount of time. And that's what you get when you come out to these homesteading expos. So until